Richmond is a market leader providing a turnkey service to church from concept to reality, offering a one-stop solution which includes design, manufacture and installation. It starts with the vision.
I always had the view that church was from the cradle to the grave. I wanted church life to be something that just wasn't Sunday only.
We have this massive building resource, so we began to think about what we might do with that and how that might become useful to the local community.
The building was a bit run down, and we needed someone who could see what we saw. We liked the way they worked, we liked their integrity. We liked the fact that they were spiritual, very spiritual, and they understood a lot, not just the building and the furniture, but they also understood the spiritual dynamics that went into that kind of work.
Richmond was not just there to do construction. Richmond was indeed part of the dream. So Richmond was not only adding to the dream, but also interpreting the dream.
Richmond actually was a distribution company. We imported chairs, we imported things from all over Europe. We would sell them out to coffee shops, restaurants. But we suddenly cottoned on when we got out to these restaurants, there was no carpet, they hadn't the painting done, and I would say 9 times out of 10 it was not coordinated. So we see there was a niche market there, that some company come in, they could do the building, they could do the planning, they could do the fitting out, and that's how Richmond was formed. So now we built a design team, we've got a factory, and we are turnkey operators. We will take the contract from concept to reality, on time, every time.
Having the vision is essential, and Richmond's experience helps the concept become a reality.
I must have met with 2 or 3 architects, and I gave them my ideas for how we should move forward. They could not wrap their heads around it. I remember the first architect I spoke to said, well, it's a church. You're going to meet for 1 hour on a Sunday. You don't even need heating in the place. That was their concept of church. They did not understand where we were going. They didn't understand where we were coming from.
And then Richmond came, and they looked at the building, and they went away and came back with a plan on the drawing board. And amazingly, we fell in love with their concept. And actually, God used them to give us our first breakthrough in terms of decorating building. And after that encounter, the population of our church started to increase.
The good thing about Richmond is that you can talk with them. You can talk with the project managers, you can talk with the workers, and they are very cooperative. They gave me some of the best advice that I could think about. They worked through with me in every way, helping to cut down on expenses, and at the end is doing what I would describe as a fantastic and a beautiful job.
I think the first thing that made Richmond's different for me was they were prepared to listen to what we wanted, even to the extent they would come and sit on a service, feel what was happening in the place.
The next stage is design. We liaise with all official bodies from planning to building control, taking into account any special features.
Starts with the survey, and the survey then evolves into a working drawing or a working plan, which allows us to establish how many people, for example, we can get in the auditorium. We would then supplement that presentation with artist impressions, so they get a chance to see more or less exactly what they're getting.
Richmond specialises in restoration of listed buildings, working closely with local conservation teams and English heritage to provide a design solution for modern church needs.
Our legal representative was sitting there, the planning officer was sitting there, the planning consultant, and yet Richmond came to bail us out.
Even when the planning officer couldn't defend us, and he was the one working with us, he didn't know how to answer the committee. Richmond stepped in and they did a good job.
They did a good job.
The way they talk, the way they know their onions, they know what they're doing.
Working in a listed building requires listed building consent. We got in touch with Southern Council, the conservation team, come out, and we had several meetings to go through our drawings, to show the type of furniture that we were building, how it was designed to be sympathetic to the period of the building. But not only the drawings and the furniture, but also the colour scheme was through discussion with her. And very quickly she understood that the colour scheme had to be sympathetic to the building, but at the same time it had to be sympathetic to the end user. Cormac also showed Anya our floor finishes for the carpet, also the floor tiles for the reception area, the tiles and the laminates for the toilet facilities and so on. So the conservation team were involved the whole way down the road, and they knew exactly what they were getting. And I was at the council meeting after the work was completed, and I must admit it was nice to hear the conservation team giving a glowing report that the building has been restored to a way that it was in the 1930s.
All items are manufactured in our modern factory in Bangor, County Down, where quality can be controlled.
Once the project is approved and the client signs off the drawings, everything moves down onto the factory floor. And what you see here is effectively the finished item is work in progress. But because it's manufactured here and not somewhere else, we're able to control the detail and the quality of the project, because ultimately you're only as good as your last job.
It's like a 5-star hotel taste. You know, it's like being in a hotel. And whatever concept they have, they take it through right from the reception to the pulpit.
Finally, the work begins on site, minimising the time the church is closed and delivering on time every time.
Again, with Richmond's help, Richmond were very, very instrumental in our move after about 8 years from there to our current site, to a massive factory complex that now incorporates an office, a sports hall, auditorium, minor hall, cafe and coffee company, a conference centre, and all of that work was carried out by Richmond.
The beauty about what we do is we then take the building back to its former glory. The over-tiering was removed from the balcony, and we see 700 cinema-style tip-up seats back in place as how the building was designed and used in the 1930s. In the stage area, Gala Bingo had a bar plus kitchen, and again we were able to remove all that, put a stage back in, reinstate, restore the original proscenium arch, and we've got the stage back as to how it would have looked in the 1930s. From the reception area, we put a new reception counter. We've used the space to put together bookshop resources, which is very important for church, for selling books, DVDs, CDs and so on. And we've kept a nice little cafe area to one side, but kept the central foyer clear so that it has a good flow of people coming through.
But the bottom line is, what do the clients and the congregation think of Richmond's work?
So people didn't have a picture in their mind of what the building was going to look like. They were very anxious. And to watch people's faces as they came back in those early weeks, it was an amazing experience. It really was. It was like they were transformed as well as the building, and they were all struck by the beauty of the place.
If you look at the work Richmond has done for so many churches, especially in the London area, amazingly, I believe it's by the power of the Holy Spirit. It must be God anyway. Everyone that Richmond has worked with, somehow they've seen phenomenal growth in their ministry.
The bill that came at the end was the bill that was agreed at the commencement. A lot of folk that I've worked with, there's been too many hidden things that are only brought out at the end when you're really not left with much room to discuss. As far as they're concerned, starting price was what they agreed on, and that's what they finished on.
We get to know everyone. You work so close with them to get all the detail. And we like to feel afterwards we're part of their family. And they come, they rely on us, they talk to us, they've got any difficulties, and that is the after-sales service. It is a business, yes, but it's more than that. And I've got some of the best friends. And as I said earlier, I sit back with pride to see how these churches are developing. It is absolutely amazing.
We pride ourselves in quality craftsmanship and performance, ensuring all projects are completed on time, every time. If you would like Richmond to be part of your church journey, then contact Paul at churchdesign.co.uk or telephone 02891 270 930.